Is this it now?
Yeah. We have a very casual intro. We just kind of, all right, go.
Yeah, you don't even need the subtitles, by the way. I can do the subtitles.
So why'd you pick this movie?
Well, I think you asked me my favorite movie.
Yeah,
right?
so this
is my favorite movie. It's a great movie. It's the best movie. It's a perfect movie, and I'm a little nervous because it's called The Movie Ruiners. And if you guys try to ruin this, I mean, I'm gonna get violent. I'm gonna Billy Bats you guys. It's a perfect film.
I don't really have any criticisms. Reed was saying the same thing earlier. It's one of those movies that I weirdly saw like later in life because it kind of came out when I was too young to watch it.
Sure.
And so once I saw it, it was one of those things I was immediately like, this is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it till COVID, and I'd seen it on TV.
Oh, these are the worst things that you could say to me.
Well, I wasn't proud of it. It's just, I saw most of the movie several times, and I was just like, I got it. And I was probably in the camp that I thought Casino was better.
Oh, boy.
And then COVID came around, and it was on Netflix. I was like, I'll watch it. And I was like, okay, I get it now. Like, this is a pretty perfect movie.
That's a bad camp. I just had Colin Quinn on my podcast, shout out Mindful Metal Jacket, and we talked about this because him and I talk a lot about people that think Casino is better than Goodfellas. And those people are, it's like one of the worst takes in the history of cinema takes.
It's funny how it is all tied together, though. Like, I kind of feel like Casino's like the cousin like of this movie, maybe a distant cousin, but it's still like, I mean, they are connected in the sense of like the guy that Joe Pesci's playing in Casino was so tied to the gambling world that it was all connected to this movie and the gambling. Like when he was brought down, Joe Pesci was also brought down in the Casino as well. The Ant or whatever.
Okay.
The Ant. What do you mean, the Ant?
So Joe Pesci in Casino played the Ant. Tony Marvello or something.
When you said Ant, I thought you meant like how we say aunt. Ant. I thought you meant like his mother's sister. I was confused. There's Paulie Walnuts from Sopranos, who I hate, but it's fine in this.
Why do you hate him?
I hate, well, I don't want to go in, because I've had this in many podcasts, my hatred of The Sopranos, but I think he's just cartoony in The Sopranos, where he's like, hey, D-O. But here he's normal. I mean, that line delivery, it's your fault. You started it. It's fantastic.
It's your fault. You started it. I started it. It's your fault. Junior here.
So what do we do? We just talk about the movie? Is this it? We're in here? I mean, because,
we got a few surprises.
We've also got some
great.
surprises. So
is this a Trump hat?
No.
Oh, wow. I mean, this is beautiful. This is incredible. Sports. I mean, I love sports and I love hats.
One of my favorite things following you is you usually... you do a lot of work too, but you also take the time to go to sports events.
I do. I'm going to the Vandy game tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
I'm at the UK and Vandy play tomorrow. I can't wait.
What's the best game you've seen live or best sporting event?
I've seen a lot of great ones. I saw the Red Sox win the World Series against the Dodgers in 2018, I think that was. They've won so many World Series, I can't keep track. But I think it was 2018. And then last year, the semifinals of the U.S. Open, I'm a big tennis guy. I saw Tiafoe and Alcaraz, 5-set marathon. That might have been the coolest game. And 2002, I went to a few Celtics playoff games. One game, they were down I think 18 in the fourth quarter to the Nets in the conference finals. And that was just fucking insane. That was awesome. Those are the best. I saw the Royals beat the Mets in the World Series as well. So I've been to 2 clinching games of the World Series.
That's awesome.
And that was an extra innings game, so that was something.
Is all this research, has that been paying off for your commentating?
Dude, I love those videos. People seem to like them. For those who are unfamiliar, I go to these sporting events and just do play-by-play on my phone, and people seem to really like them. But nobody believes that they think I'm doing it in post. But I'm just talking like that because I'm always like, look at this fat asshole walking by or something like that. And people are like, oh, he must do this in post. But if you get the phone close enough to your mouth, you can talk without anybody hearing it.
Okay, so you don't have people looking like, what's this guy rambling on about?
No, I mean, people can kind of hear in front of you, but I don't make fun of them. Mm-hmm. But if you kind of just do okay, we're here, there's enough noise that people can't really hear you. But yeah, they're all on YouTube. You can check them out. For the people at home, it sounds like you already have.
Hello, folks. We're in the bottom of the first. The bases are full of cubbies. Here comes a sidewinder in there for a strike. We got an old alcoholic selling beers. He drinks one for every 2 he sells. It's a beautiful day here in Sin City, Chicago. City by the river. There's a ball in the dirt. This big, long, left-handed string bean is really struggling. It's a perfect day for baseball. Here comes another dork with beer. And a guy that hates his kid. It's 1-1. Here's the pitch. Line into right center field. Oh, that's all the way in the gap. That might clear the bases. Holy hell. My father comes on my back. That's a big lead for the Cubbies. High fives all around. Oh, my God. Something happened. Can you believe it? You gotta believe. Oh, my goodness. This guy wants to die. He's unhappy. What a sad, sad man. It is 3-0 Cubbies. A bases clearing double. Wow.
The sports hat, though, that's also a hat Norm used to wear on his show. I know that he called you or shouted you out a few times.
A few times, yeah. Norm was really good to me. We were. I don't want to mess up my hair for the big show.
Oh no,
tonight.
Of course not.
But no, Norm was extremely kind. He hosted Last Comic Standing when I was on, and he was really, really nice and tweeted some nice things about me. And I got to open for him once in Tarrytown, and he was very sweet there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, great guy.
Was that surreal meeting him the first time?
It was weird because I wasn't. Yeah, he was like host or judging the show, and so I was like having interactions without meeting him. Like I was on stage and he would say things, which was nice, but we weren't like supposed to like formally talk to the judges because it was like this contest show. So I didn't really like meet him properly until later, like at the Comedy Cellar, and no, it was cool. I mean, it was very exciting and awesome, and yeah, he was the best. R.I.P.
Speaking of Norm and influential people.
I mean, are there more gifts?
Oh, yeah.
Stay positive. Let me turn off the AC. I just don't want it to
Okay.
make any noise or anything.
Oh, geez. No one's gonna. That's not gonna pick anything up.
Probably know better than I do.
No, the microphones won't pick that up.
I like you. I'm nervous about a lot of stuff.
I mean, I hear you, but I mean, there's no way they would have noticed that. These microphones.
We might leave this in anyway.
Okay, yeah, leave it in.
All right. Well, your next thing, with no trouble in the segue there. Speaking of
nervous.
influential people, so
Oh my God, I'm scared.
know you're a big fan of this.
Oh my God, this is unbelievable. I mean, this is a better gift than my wife's ever given me. I mean, where did you find this?
So I found the painting on Etsy and then just got a frame for it. But Lester Bangs, that's one of the coolest quotes.
Yeah, I mean, you know my story with this quote?
No. What's your story?
Oh, I assumed you know the story.
I know it, but go ahead and tell
I mean,
us.
I met Philip Seymour Hoffman, also R.I.P., and I just walked up to at a bar. I mean, I didn't meet him. He was at a bar, and I was hammered, and I walked up to him, and I just said this quote to him. And he said, "What?" And I said, "Oh, that's a line from Almost Famous." And he went, "Oh, yeah, man." Like he was just really off put. And then I said, "I'm friends with Patrice O'Neill," and which was a lie. And then he said, "I don't know who that is." And I said, "Oh, you have a scene with him in 25th Hour. He's a comedian and actor, and he's a friend of mine," which was not true at all. I did not know Patrice. I later knew him, but I wasn't ever friends with him. And then Philip Seymour Hoffman was like this, "All right, man." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, that's tough.
Take care. But for some reason, I thought saying the only true currency in this bankrupt world is what you share with someone when you're uncool was going to really make him be like, "Dude, sit down.
Let's get
Get over here." So this is incredible. I mean, this is like the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me.
Have you ever gotten advice like that from somebody that you felt like was maybe life-changing or something you would share?
I don't know about life-changing. Colin Quinn is sort of like my, father figure in the comedy scene, and he's always very, very kind and thoughtful. But he's not that poetic, for God's sakes. But, oh my God, he looked like a gangster. They shot me. I wish the subtitles weren't on so I could be so impressive, because it looks like I'm just reading it. But anyways, I'm very distracted because my favorite film ever. But Colin Quinn, I would say, gives a lot of good advice, and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of great older, wiser comics that have been very kind to me through the years.
This part is great when he's just like, "God, he wasted 4 aprons."
You wasted 8 fucking aprons on this guy. 8. You wasted 8 fucking aprons on this guy. We gotta toughen you up.
You're a real jerk. You wasted 8 fucking aprons on this guy. don't know what the hell's wrong with you. I gotta toughen this kid up.
And then here comes De Niro. But I can do the music cues. Ba, ba, ba. And then the funniest part of the movie, the biggest flaw in the film, is that he says that De Niro couldn't be more than 28 or 29 at the time. And
Yes.
he walks in, he's clearly 57 years old.
I thought that same thing.
But yeah, this is a really fun. All the gangster movies, all these big epic movies, even like Wolf of Wall Street and Boogie Nights, I always like it best when they're in the heyday, like when everything's going great. Like when it starts to be the downfall, you're like, this is a bummer.
Oh, I agree.
Especially Boogie Nights.
The come up is
Yeah.
the best part.
Absolutely. There, right here. He's supposed to be 28 or 29.
Do you think because he got away with this, he was like, yeah, we'll use him for, what was Scorsese's latest movie? The Irishman?
The Irishman.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, they'll buy you being 40 now that you're 70.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love The Irishman, but there's some huge flaws in that. I mean, particularly the scene where he's beating the guy up on the sidewalk is particularly
that's tough.
embarrassing.
Yeah, that CGI.
The Irishman is here to take all your guineas money. Sorry, I mean, I can't have this in the background. We're not going to get through anything. This is the greatest film of all time.
Which character scares you the most? Like, who would you be most intimidated if they were in the conversation?
I think that, I mean, Jimmy and Tommy are both extremely intimidating, obviously. Jimmy seems more scary in a way. But, of course, Tommy, Joe Pesci, kills people more at will, I guess. But both terrifying guys. I would be shitting my pants with either of them. And probably Henry, too. But though Henry never kills anybody, which many people have pointed out that idea that Henry comes clean and tells the whole story, but somehow never killed anybody.
Yeah.
It's a little suspicious.
Oh, I hadn't
And he's
thought
just
about
like,
that.
yeah, here's all that happened. I never killed anybody.
I'm a pretty good guy, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little suspect.
I read that a lot of like guys in the mob were just like, Henry Hill was never really like a tough guy. Like he was just kind
Right.
of like around. He was like one of those like kind of maybe a fanboy, if you will, a little bit.
Yeah, kind of a hanger-on-y type of
Yeah.
guy. I like this little thing he does with his mouth there.
They used to tip him off about the really good loads, and of course everybody got a piece.
By the way, has there ever been a better younger actor cast to play someone? Does he not look identical to Joe Pesci?
They nailed it. Or the Henry Hill.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, both of them. But the other guy is supposed to be Pesci, and it's dead on.
I think
Okay.
they both look great. That's a weird thing to say about two child actors.
Two teenage boys. But the scene and look at that's he looks exactly like Pesci.
He really does.
I mean, a lot of it's just the hair. Store's closed, kid.
When he gets popped and he comes out of jail and everyone's waiting on him, that would be like, I don't know. I can't imagine many people have had that experience post being arrested where they've got a bunch of hey.
Well, it's funny because when I did Letterman for the first time, Gary Gulman and Nick DiPaolo came, and they're big Goodfellas fans. And when I came off stage, they did you broke your cherry. It was very fun. So we recreated that scene.
Oh, you broke your cherry.
But anyway, what I was going to say is one of the great moments in this movie is when Jimmy and Henry get sentenced for beating up the FBI guy, and the judge says, 7 years in a state penitentiary, and De Niro doesn't move, his facial doesn't change at all, and Henry Hill starts looking around immediately, and it's such a great subtle moment of him being like, "What? Prison? We can't do this."
Yeah.
And of course also when they're beating Billy Batts and Henry's kind of freaking out. So he's just not built
Well,
for this.
he's like, you don't go to jail unless you want to.
Yeah.
That's like a hilarious thing to say.
Well, and of course he has like this hubris. He thinks he's not going to go to jail at any point. So when he finally gets sentenced, he kind of shits his pants, and you can feel him being like, "What?"
Who do you think's the best performance out of this movie, or who's your favorite?
Boy, that's tough. I mean, Pesci, they're all so good. I mean, Scorsese's so good at getting great performances out of people. I mean, Liotta's unbelievable, who's relatively unknown at the time. I mean, he had done Field of Dreams the year before, and I think maybe one other movie or something before. By the way, there's a mistake right here. Are we talking about how it's flawless? They are leaning on a 1965 Impala here. It's 1963 Idlewild Airport, which would shortly after becoming JFK Airport. But this is a 1965 Impala that they are leaning on in 1963.
So how did you catch that? Do you just know cars, or?
Oh, God, no. I just read that. No, I don't. I can't identify a fucking car. I can't identify this diner, though. It's in Astoria, Queens, right down the street from my house. I drive by it every time I go to the airport, ironically.
You ever eaten there?
Yeah, many times. Yeah. In fact, the Comedians in Cars, which episode? I think the Brian Regan episode. Oh, no. Maybe it's the Norm episode, actually. No, Norm was probably in California. Or is it Norm? Fuck, I don't know. But one of the Comedians in Cars, they takes place there. At that diner. I just watched it recently. And this guy, I got so many fun facts about this movie. And I feel bad because people aren't watching along with us. I'm acting like they are.
Like when we're talking about it, we'll come back and put clips in there.
Oh, beautiful. Well, fun fact, this guy is a comedian right here. This guy in the jacket who says 2 N-words just stole my truck right here. That's a comedian. I forget his name, but a bunch of comics know him, which is very exciting to see a stand-up comedian in a
Michael Richards?
Yeah.
Speaking of Michael Richards, next gift I got for you.
I mean, how many gifts are there? This is bananas. Oh my God. This is unbelievable. I mean, you guys, this is too much. I don't know how I'm going to travel home with all this. I'm going to have to stuff it in my
we
bag.
can ship it to you.
What? What are you guys? Who are you? You guys are like the angels of love. I mean, this is amazing. Little Seinfeld, little people. It's little people. You got that?
It's a little kid's toy.
I mean, this is unbelievable. Ages 1 to 101. I'll give it to my son next year.
Yeah, you got to wait.
The Kramer looks like he's 20 years old here. He looks like a 12-year-old. This is incredible. Thank you, guys. I mean, these are all mine. I can have these.
Yeah.
This is insane.
You're Joe List, man.
What did you guys win the lottery? I can't tell what's going on here. You got an Airbnb and a mansion. You're giving out gifts, and
we were only permitted to stay in this part, though, the garage part.
yeah. So this isn't your regular place.
No. We had to rent it.
I mean, this is unbelievable. This is a great Airbnb. Shout out to these people that live here.
But speaking of Seinfeld, what character do you think would be funniest to see in this world from Seinfeld?
Oh, Kramer for sure. Kramer's the funniest character on Seinfeld, in my opinion, in the history of TV. Plus, I feel like he would. I didn't get to finish my my best performance, or decide, I should say. But I'll come back to that. But I mean, Kramer in here would just be unbelievable because I feel like he could fit in there a little bit. I mean, George would get whacked immediately. Elaine would probably try to fight one of them, and Jerry, I can see entertaining them. Maybe he's doing stand up. This guy,
he'd be like funny hound. He'd be like, "Look at you, you're a little guy."
This guy's name is Mike Hart or something like that. What the hell's his name? Mike, one syllable. Mike Starr.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
he's in Dumb and Dumber.
His name's Mike Starr, and he's in Dumb and Dumber. And when we made the movie 4th of July, the movie I made with Louis C.K., they sent him to maybe play my dad. Like we could try to get this guy, and we didn't feel like he fit the role right. But anyways, that guy's great. And I always love that he's in this and Dumb and Dumber. 2 of my favorite films of all time. Very different movies.
Yeah, both great. I heard you on a podcast say that Cameron from Ferris Bueller, you kind of wish you had cast him as your dad too.
Yeah.
And I thought how perfect that would be.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I wish that we had thought of him earlier. And I don't know that he would have done it, obviously, but I wish that we had thought of him because we thought of a lot of people and we tried getting a few different people. But he would have been great and perfect age. And I love Cameron Fry. And that guy's awesome.
He's great in Succession too.
I never watched Succession, but that's what I hear.
Yeah, he's
great.
Really funny in it.
Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, it wasn't to be.
But yeah, 4th of July, go watch Joe's movie.
Please, yeah. LouisCK.com. Get the film. You have to buy it. Maybe we'll make it rentable at some point.
I was about to ask if how do you feel like it's done? I guess compared to just releasing it.
It's
typically
done okay. I don't know. I mean, so many people don't know about it, I think. I'd like to try to get it on whatever, Netflix or Amazon or whatever the hell it is. But now might be a good time because they're on strike. They could buy stuff that already exists. Maybe I'll call Louis. You heard it here first, folks. It's coming to Netflix.
Bum bum.
But by the way, this is the best scene in the history of American cinema.
Funny how.
Yeah. I mean, just unbelievably perfect the way. And one of the things I love about this scene in this movie is that no one ever laughs in movies. Like, people are always saying hilarious stuff in movies. No one's ever dying laughing. This is the only scene in the history of film where everybody's laughing appropriately while someone's being hilarious.
That's what's so refreshing about Curb too. Just how much they're genuinely laughing.
Yeah. They're like, they're breaking up. I mean, look at this guy, Mickey Eyes back there, just smiling. It's so genuine. I think Leota might be the best performance in the movie, actually. Now that I think more about it. I mean, I know Pesci got the Academy Award, but
For his lack of experience,
Yeah.
it's super impressive.
When you think about for him to not be or him to be kind of a nobody at this point in time,
right?
To be just going toe to toe with Joe Pesci is wild.
Yeah, they're just amazing, and they do a lot of improvisation, which comes through because it feels so goddamn natural. And the way Leota is responding to him here, it just feels so genuine.
I think that's why they say fuck so much.
Yeah,
Is because they improvise so much of the script, and Pesci just like can't not say fuck.
right. I mean, this is an amazing scene too. No close-ups in this scene. It's all these sort of medium shots, basically these two shots over and over again, so you can kind of see everybody else reacting. And it is just the best. By the way, fun fact: Joe Pesci won the Academy Award. Gave the shortest speech in the history of the Academy Awards. He says, "It was my privilege. Thank you."
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, it was my privilege. Thank you. Yeah, 6 words.
You didn't even have time to start playing them off.
Yeah, exactly. 6-word speech.
Oh, it's my privilege. Thank you.
Same year as Home Alone too, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I tried to do a bit about this years ago that he made Home Alone and Goodfellas in the same year, and the bit never worked. But I mean, look at how Leota's laughing here. It's fucking great. It's like impending doom. It's like I'm getting pinched, like a vulture.
What the fuck is it with you? I thought I was getting pinched over here. He's hanging on my fucking neck like a vulture, like impending danger. What do you want?
Great movie. Are there more gifts?
Oh yeah.
Just a few more.
Is this whole movie just
Just
I mean,
a
this
few
whole
more.
podcast just gifts? Holy shit. What are you kidding me? This is crazy. What are you guys trying to fuck me? I'll suck you both off right now. This is amazing.
Patreon.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
That's why you
There's
gotta
5
subscribe.
of these things. This is crazy. Thank you. I mean, you guys really did like read my diary. This is wild. I mean, this is like $1,000 worth of gifts you got here.
We're pretty good at negotiating.
I mean, this feels like Christmas morning. My favorite movie, my favorite cigars, my favorite movie quotes.
What cigars do you have a memory of, like sharing a cigar with someone that like you really treasure or anything like that?
Boy, great question. I don't know. I mean, I've had a lot of great cigars and hanging out with comics. Ari Shaffir and I had a cigar in Scotland together at what the hell is that huge festival there? Edinburgh.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, nice.
That was really nice. And I also, with Ari, was in Ecuador. We try to smoke one in every country we can. We smoked in Montreal, too. So that's, what's that, 4 countries? America, Canada, Scotland, and Ecuador. And, yeah, some great cigars. I mean, I've had cigars with my dad, which was nice, and my brother-in-law. And, yeah, a lot of great cigars. And Bobby Kelly's a big cigar guy that I love smoking with. But yeah, I think Ari in Ecuador was really, really nice. And I love it. I mean, yesterday I sat in the comedy condo. My buddy Matt Wayne, who blew you guys off, he said, I hate those 2 guys.
I get it.
We just sat in back before the show and had a cigar. So I love a nice cigar. I mean, there's Paulie smoking a cigar right here. Paul Sorvino, Paulie Cicero.
He was also in The Gambler.
I was about to say that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Gambler with Paul Newman?
Yes, yeah.
When they
Not
fixed the
Paul Newman, James Caan.
James
Caan.
yeah.
Yeah. James Caan, and
Yeah.
they fixed the basketball game.
Yes.
And they're watching it, which is kind of ironic that the basketball game's really how these guys got brought down was because of the Boston College scandal.
Mm-hmm.
I went on a big James Caan kick when he died. Watched Thief and I don't know the other one, Elf, Thief,
Elf.
Gambler.
Elf.
Obviously The Godfather. But by the way, this scene always makes me laugh too, where he says this cocksucker's an arch criminal, and then no big deal, and then later on he says it's like putting a silk hat on a pig, and he says no disrespect, which I'm like, you called him a cocksucker earlier, so I don't know why silk hat on a pig would be so offensive.
You know this fucking Tommy all your life. Who knows better than you? This cocksucker's an arch criminal. I mean, when I leave my house in the morning, before I get to the car, I'm looking over both shoulders. This is no way to live. Maybe you could come in with me, take a piece of this fucking joint. It'd be good.
What are you talking about? What do you mean, a restaurant?
Yeah, I mean, it's a classy place. I mean, look at the layout. When you've been in there a million times, you know what it looks like. I mean, Tommy taking over this fucking joint is like putting a silk hat on a pig. I mean, I don't mean no disrespect on Henry, but that's the way it is. I know you're his friend.
Did you know the term stand-up comedian came from like the mob? They'd say this is a stand-up guy.
I don't know.
I've heard
that's
about
true. I don't know. That sounds incorrect. That sounds like a good story, but it's got to be from a comedian.
I'm sticking by. I read it from the internet, so it has to be true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's got to be fake. I mean, maybe it's true, but that doesn't sound right.
All right, no more
who's
gifts.
standing
We're
up
taking
there,
this
a
one back.
stand-up comedian. I mean, maybe.
Well, that's all the time we have on this podcast.
I mean, that could be true. I don't know, but it doesn't sound right. But I don't know. I'm no expert. I'm always fascinated by guys that smoke cigars. Speaking of smoking cigars, that just they talk with it in their mouth and they're just talking like this the whole time. And I'm like, how are you not inhaling all of the smoke and just choking?
Yeah, I would not be able to. People do that when they're playing cards.
Yeah.
In that side thing, and it's always so impressive to me.
I can't do it for a second. Like as soon as I do it, I just start inhaling smoke and coughing and throwing up.
Next thing we got you.
I mean, this is really ridiculous. I mean, this is unbelievable. Where did you get this? Did you guys message this to me before or send this
No,
to me?
some guy did. Dr. Photograph, shout out.
Yeah.
But we just messaged him when we saw it, and we're like, we got to get that for Joe.
I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, you guys are really too much. This is the most beautiful thing. I mean, my wife is gonna shit when I come home with all this stuff because she's never. I mean, she can't compete with this. This is just incredible. Thank you again.
What was it like? I guess this is your third special. What was it like? I guess I'm not even gonna ask a special question. I'm gonna ask you about the movie. What was it like writing that movie and then like pitching it to people for the first time?
Well, the nice thing about that movie is we didn't pitch it to anybody. I mean, there was no industry. We just made it. Louis paid for it. He did it. He directed it. We produced it together and wrote it together. So we didn't have to pitch it really to anybody, which was delightful. There was no like, here's what we want to do. It was just us making it. But it was great writing it. It was a lot of fun, and I would like to do it again. But yeah, basically Louis and I just talked on the phone and kind of were like, we wanted to make a movie, and we just talked a bunch about different things we could do, and it just slowly kind of snowballed, and it was really fun, and the ideas just kind of kept coming, and we kind of got like a basic idea of what it would look like, and then got together a few times and just knocked it out, listened to music and wrote and took breaks to eat food, and somehow we did it.
What do you think is harder, writing a new special or writing a movie?
Boy, that's a great question. Well, writing a movie, you have someone else, it's a little more of a teamwork thing. I mean, I've written a lot more specials than I've written movies. I think more people have written comedy than have written movies. Well, maybe not, actually, I guess. But, yeah, maybe not. But I think a movie is harder to write. I mean, it depends on what we're talking. Are we talking good movie and a good special? I mean, I could throw together either one, but a movie, like if done properly, it's like you have to have a story and character development and all this stuff. Where stand-up, you could just, it's a little bit easier. To me, certainly writing stand-up comes a lot more natural. But writing a movie, you have a partner and you can kind of, there's a little more of a formula. But I would say writing stand-up is easier, but exact opposite of what I just said. There's a lot more movies than there are stand-up comedy specials. At least there used to be. So I don't know. Did that make sense? Was that an answer?
No, a little bit.
It was conflated. But yeah, for me, writing stand-up is a lot easier. But in general, writing a successful stand-up special is probably harder than writing a movie. If that makes sense.
How does it compare? Like, is it easier to watch yourself in the movie or easier to watch like your special or anything?
Whew, boy, that's a tough question too. I really hate watching myself in both. The movie's slightly easier, I think, because it is a movie. There's like a narrative there. It's not just me. There's other people in there, and I feel like I'm like, oh boy, I reacted well to that. I think that was good. Stand up, I just can't do it. I physically cannot watch myself do stand-up comedy. It makes me like sick to my stomach. But the movie, we went to the premiere and I was able to watch it, and I was proud of it. But not that I'm not proud of my stand-up stuff, but By the way, a quick side note. I never understood this scene too. Why does he drive up on the sidewalk? It's Pesci driving. Why is
Yeah, he acts like
crazy?
he's mad.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that he drives like that. I actually think that's like a strange flaw in the movie. I know you said there's no flaws in the movie.
So is Paulie having an affair with Karen?
I think in real life.
Well, then the way he's talking to her, I know he's talking to him at one point in time where he's like, you got to get, Karen came over. It's like right after when he's cheating on her.
Right, yeah.
And he's
with Janice Rossi.
Yeah, he's like, you got to take her on vacation. I know how to talk to you. That's what he said.
I know how to talk, especially to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they don't really get into it, but in real life, he did, right?
In real life, they did.
I always hate her outfit here because she's so hot in the previous scene, and then she's just like in a fucking weird pasty sweater.
She's like that girl in Seinfeld.
And the light.
The Two-Face? Yeah. Just a good half.
How do you do?
Hi, nice to meet you.
My daughter says that you're half Jewish.
Just the good half.
By the way, this is also one of the most famous scenes, and they say the second most studied scene behind the shower scene in Psycho. This whole steady cam through the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I kind of noticed that in 4th of July a little bit whenever you're walking around
the
lake house.
Yeah, we did a little bit of that sort of steady cam through there, but nothing like that. I mean, this is insane. And when you watch this scene, it is mind-blowing that they were able to do this. And they talk about it in Swinger. Supposedly it took a week to light this scene. I mean, for all this lighting to be right and everyone to do everything. And like right now, you think about it, there's like 100 extras in the restaurant waiting for them to arrive, and nobody can fuck it up. And all this great dialogue back here, and then the crazy kitchen scene for everyone to hit their marks and walk through. Every time I come here, you do. Don't you work? I feel happy that I'm beating the subtitles. But I mean, look at this scene. Look how many extras are in here, and all this lighting, all this sound, and to have that guy come through at just the right moment, avoid that guy. This scene is unbelievable.
If this was Guitar Hero and you had to hit the lines before, you're just killing it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I mean, these guys, that guy nails his scene, and we're still not even in the restaurant yet.
Is this Martin Scorsese's best movie? I
think so. I mean, Raging Bull, obviously, a lot of people think is better, and like that feels like more people think that is his magnum opus. But to me, this movie is just so perfect. And then how much pressure on this guy to bring this table in and not hit somebody over the head or just fuck this up in the last second. There must have been a take where somebody just slips and falls right here. See, look at this guy. He's got the table all ready. He's walking with it over his head. He can't hit anybody. He can't bump into anybody.
Yeah, like 98% perfect, and then just...
And I always think about this too, because like Henny Youngman does some stand-up here, and because it's all still the same shot, and there must have been so much pressure on the comedian to just nail this.
Oh man, doing stand-up in front of a mob boss.
Yeah, and in this movie, doing it in front of Scorsese in this movie with everybody, all this stuff. By the way, she looks great again here.
Yeah, the lighting's back.
Yeah. I mean, and the outfit is just a lot better than that fucking stupid sweater. I'm a union delegate. That's a great line. There's Mickey over there. We swing back around. I'm in construction. You don't feel like you're in construction. I'm a union delegate.
The names in this, the gangster names are incredible.
Jimmy Two Times, Mickey Eyes, Pete the Killer, Frankie No Nose.
What's Sim's brother or Mike's brother? Fat Andy.
Pete the Killer and Fat Andy.
Yeah. If you had a mob name, what would it be?
Oh boy, I don't know if I'd like to know. Joey Blinks. I don't know. I'm not sure. Joey OCD. Joe CD.
Joe CD.
Okay, that's good.
Anyways, I don't know what we were talking about. I got distracted again.
It's all right. We got a lot going on.
All right, yeah. There's a lot happening, but yeah, the movie was fun. Leota rules in this movie, and yeah. These gifts are too kind. Yeah, the pizza bar. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
Well, the last gift we got you, another movie that you like, that Ray Liotta's in.
Now, what is this?
It's like a reproduction, but it has all the main cast from Field of Dreams.
Oh, my God. I'm going to cry. What the hell is this? This is like my birthday. You got to be kidding me. Wow. Where did you find this?
Just, I don't have a good answer. Just online, the internet. Just looking at Field of Dreams stuff. And
I mean, this is unbelievable. Here's Frank Whaley, I see, who's one of my favorite actors, who I actually saw at the Syracuse Funny Bone Not the Funny Bone, at the hotel from the Funny Bone. James Earl Jones is in here.
That's Ray Liotta's autograph, but I really can't tell. It's like just 3 letters.
Yeah, I can't tell either. This is it right here?
Yeah. Then Kevin Costner right there, Field of Dreams.
Wow. I mean, this is incredible. And Bobby Brown, the baseball president, American League president. This is incredible. I'm trying to think of who this must be. I forget some of the other actors' names. I mean, this is really unbelievable. Well, thank you, guys. This is the best day of my whole life. Oh, this is Burt Lancaster, legend. Burt Lancaster and James Earl Jones together. I mean, this must be worth $1 million.
Well, it's a reproduction. It's
I
not...
don't care.
Yeah.
It's worth $100.
It's worth what it's worth to you.
I mean, this is really unbelievable. Thank you, guys. I mean, I can't, I don't know what to say.
Field of Dreams, why is that such a special movie for you?
Well, I mean, I love baseball. I love fathers and sons. It's funny because my three of my favorite movies ever tell the story of father and son at the same age. Big Fish, The Godfather Part 2, and Field of Dreams, which is just an interesting. She looks great here too. Just an interesting dynamic for a film to see father and son at the same age and how they're living their lives. But I loved that movie always. I just always loved baseball. And then I realized years later on a deeper level, I mean, I have such a, my relationship with my father is really special to me. And, a lot of feelings there. And that's what that movie is sort of all about. I also think the movie's hilarious. There's a lot of funny stuff in that movie and magical, and the magic of baseball and believing and sort of pursuing dreams. There's so many things I love about that movie. I also think like the cinematography is fantastic and the performances are great, and it's just a beautiful movie. It's just such a touching film to me. And probably my second favorite film behind Goodfellas and Forrest Gump, also one of my favorite films. And Alabama. By the way, I can't say, you guys are from Alabama? I can't say Alabama not in Keith Jackson's voice.
Oh, that's very fair.
Oh, no. Alabama. I feel like you guys are young for Keith Jackson, but
Keith Jackson was one of the best.
Yeah, the best ever. And it's the... what's the one he
Florida
says?
Gators, he did the Gatorade commercial too, where it was like and it was in the swamp where Gatorade was founded.
Yeah, he's the best. How do you sum up a rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State? Well, it's about not liking each other for about 100 years. Yeah, he was the best. The big ugly, swapping paint up front. Anyways.
Whoa, Nelly was great.
Yeah, I was a big Whoa Nelly guy, and he's the greatest.
This is dull. Doesn't have to be.
And now the starting lineup. That groom from Texas, Billy Clyde Humphrey. And at Bride, a 5'6" debutante from Alabama, Nell Peterson. The vows are up.
I do.
And they're good. Whoa, Nelly!
Now here's where we first meet Maury. Great moment here. Liotta laughing at him. It feels so genuine the way he's laughing at him.
It's almost like the wig wasn't supposed to come off almost.
Yeah. I mean, so good. I mean, that fucking tape is so ridiculous too.
In terms of Robert De Niro, to me, I think this is his best movie.
He's pretty amazing. I mean, I gotta give an edge to Raging Bull just because of the diversity of that performance. But
I love Taxi Driver. That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, Taxi Driver is amazing. I mean, Scorsese was just like on fire for like 15 straight years, and he's still making great stuff. Scorsese's one of the few artists that continues to be great into his later years, in my opinion. I thought Wolf of Wall Street was awesome, and I really like The Irishman. I'm very excited for Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, Shutter Island was good.
Shutter Island's great. So yeah, he keeps doing it, but this movie is just so goddamn perfect. Even though I've pointed out multiple flaws.
You've been the movie ruiner.
I know. I'm sorry.
You were worried about us.
Wrong year car. And look at the size of this goddamn car. Imagine trying to park that in New York City. I mean, how fucking funny is that? This guy, by the way, when he beats the shit out of this guy, the guy in the blue shirt to the left reminds me of Matthew Perry. He looks like Chandler from Friends. You'll see it in a second. When
Could
he goes
you
over
be
there.
any more violent?
Could you stop hitting my friend in the face with a gun? Watch, you'll see it in a second. He goes over there, very sexy. I love the belt built into the pants.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's
Classic.
like that. Mitch Hedberg joke. My belt loops are holding up my belt. My belt holds up my pants.
That's a great
Who's
one.
the real hero here?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking of him earlier because he has a joke on an album where he's messed up where he goes, I know cars. I can look at headlights and tell which way they're going.
That's funny. See the guy on the left in the blue shirt?
Yeah.
He's very Matthew Perry.
He's not great, frankly.
Geez, stop it.
Don't shoot. That's a great
It's so
moment, too.
easy to sit here and laugh at those guys, but if that same thing happened to me,
Oh,
I would be terrified.
I like the way they slow it down right here. There's a quick little slow motion moment here. That's really beautiful.
So when did you start like noticing cinematic like shots and things like that?
Probably as a kid. I watched movies so compulsively and over again. I think I might be autistic, frankly, but I really would watch. I don't think that. I feel like so many people claim that now, but
It's hot.
It's the move now. I'm saying it facetiously, but now so many people do it that I feel silly. But I would just watch movies over and over again, so you'd start to just notice subtle things. I still do that when I watch movies like this. I start looking in the background for people and things that I haven't noticed before. And then I took a class. Is an English teacher, Miss Cavell, who taught like a film class in high school, and then that was like really got me into it. She was like the first person that told me that like everything in a movie is done on purpose. Like that candle's blue on purpose, and they have this many faces in there on purpose, and whatever song and all these things. This Scorsese's dad right there in the back of his head, Charlie.
His mom plays Joe Pesci's
right
mom. Yeah,
Catherine. But yeah, so I guess in high school really, and I don't know. I love it. I love trying to break it down and see why they did whatever they did. Because it's always fascinating thing about movies to me is that they could do this not panning. This could have been a wider shot. It could have been an overhead shot. So all these choices were made. That's why I love these really great filmmakers and auteurs. Everyone was named Peter and Polly, and they were all married to girls named Marie.
There must have been 24 Peters and Pauls at the wedding.
This is Marie.
Plus, they were all married to girls named Marie.
Speaking of choices, in 4th of July, I was talking to it with Matt Taylor, a Nashville comedian, and he was talking about how you depicted anxiety so well. He pointed out something I didn't see, but he talked about when you're getting off the boat and you look down to make sure the boat's still tied up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a little thing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for noticing those things, or thank him for noticing those things. But yeah, we tried to really, nail all those things as best we could. That feeling of being completely anxiety drenched, That scene we got frustrated by because that scene where we're getting off the boat, the guy playing my grandfather, Richard O'Rourke, who's a friend of mine, we love. He's very sweet, but he's actually in real life he's like 2 years older than the guy playing my dad, and he's supposed to be his dad. And we didn't notice until after, but he gets off the boat and he walks quite like briskly away, and we're like, he's supposed to be like 95. We're like, oh, if we had known in the moment, we should have been like, can you like limp a little bit? But if you watch that scene, he just gets off the boat and kind of like saunters away, and I'm like, ah, shit. He looks like a very healthy man, which he is. And I was like, shit, we totally missed it. Those are the things that I like noticing in movies where you're like, wait a minute, what? But that's the problem with casting a 66-year-old man to play a 98-year-old man, I guess.
That's the opposite of Scorsese.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
reverse Rob De Niro.
Yeah.
I saw this and it cracked me up that this guy's got a lawsuit against the Simpsons because he claims that this is him.
I saw that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And
Frankie Carbone.
Yeah, that he like lived next to one of the writers of the Simpsons, and then like shortly after moving in, this guy started appearing on the Simpsons.
Oh wow, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I think as of like 2016, the lawsuit was still unresolved.
Wow. Oh, I never heard that. That's very funny.
Yeah, it cracked me up.
Growing up, what VHSs or DVDs did you have laying around the house that were staples?
Oh man, I had so many. This was one of them for sure. I had so many. I had a huge VHS collection, which still exists somewhere. I think in my mother's, garage or shed or whatever. But I would watch again like the same movies over and over again. But even as a kid, I would collect like by director. I had a lot of Woody Allen's and a lot of Scorsese, and then
it's like Ants.
Yeah, I didn't have any. I don't know about ants. I never saw ants, but well, you talk a lot about ants. There was the ants. Look how good his face is here, by the way. He's amazing. The way he starts laughing.
I love that
laugh.
he just leaves, dude.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. And then one of the best lines in the movie, what the fuck kind of people are they?
What's wrong with you? Yeah.
So great.
Where have you been? We were worried to death. A married man does not stay out like this. Mom! Normal people don't act like this! What's wrong with you? Henry, you're not normal. She's right. What's wrong with you, Henry? What kind of person are you? What is the matter with you? What the fuck kind of people are they?
The idea of this man living in the suburbs of Long Island with his, his Jewish in-laws is like such a funny idea that was going to work out. But anyways, sorry, I get distracted. What the hell were we talking about? Ants, Woody Allen. Oh, VHS.
Yeah, VHS.
Yeah, man, I had a lot. I mean, there was movies like when I was a kid, like my parents had whatever, like Dirty Dancing. I would like watch a lot because it was there and in the house. And Honey, I Shrunk the Kids when I was like really young. I would watch over and over again. The movie Overboard with Kurt Russell. Those are like movies that like when I remember being really young and watching over and over again. But we had a lot. I had a massive VHS collection. That was Scorsese's girlfriend there with the blue doing her nails. I forget her name. Not her.
Yeah.
That looks like her.
Yeah, poor guy.
Although Scorsese's chick isn't all that hot either, but that's her right there on the right.
Oh, okay, good for him. That's a little bit better.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
More appropriate.
What's the last movie you saw in theaters?
I just saw a movie last week. I saw a murder in Venice or something like that. A Haunting in Venice.
Okay.
Which is like a sequel-y thing to Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't great. It was like, I took my niece and my wife on like a Friday night. Like, let's go to I like going to the movies. I love it. And I like putting my phone away and getting some candy and popcorn, the whole thing. So anyways, we saw that. And it was the most whatever movie I've ever seen. It was just like, okay, that was a movie.
What's your best theater going experience ever?
Probably a few years ago, or one of the most memorable anyways, was they were playing Apocalypse Now at the Beacon Theater for part of the New York Film Festival. And Louis and I called Louis C.K. and I was like, dude, they're playing Apocalypse Now at the Beacon. We have to go. And he was like out in Long Island at his house in Long Island. He was like, I'm going to drive back for it. And I was like, great. And he got us really good tickets. We sat behind Sofia Coppola. And Francis Ford Coppola was there, and he did a talk and an interview with Steven Soderbergh afterwards. And then Robert Duvall, nobody knew was there, but Robert Duvall was there. And he came out and he walked like his shoes were tied together, like he was very old. And he just went, Charlie, don't surf. And he went back and he walked off stage. And we watched Apocalypse Now like in theater, full volume. It was like, that was like pretty magical.
I don't know, sir. What is it, soldier? Well, I mean, it's pretty hairy in there. It's Charlie's point. Charlie, don't surf!
And then also I remember seeing Forrest Gump in the theater when I was a kid, when I was 12, my friend Ron Reynolds, and that was very exciting. And then the year before that, we saw Jurassic Park, and it was like sold out. We saw it up front, and that was like a crazy thing. And watching Apollo 13 with my dad was also like a big deal for me. Like I really remember that, seeing that in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts, and yeah, all those are very memorable, great movies that I remember seeing in the theater.
That was a big deal at my school, was like how close you sat in Jurassic Park. Like people were like getting clout over being like, oh, we sat third row. People were like, oh, we sat second row.
Yeah, I mean, I hated, I hate sitting up front. You're not going to get your deposit back.
Yeah.
I hate sitting close to the screen in a movie, but I can't stand watching movies like that. But it was so packed that it was just, that was the only option. Saving Private Ryan, we saw in the theater too. That was very memorable. Yeah, so a lot of great. I love it. I love going to the movies. I still do.
Do you go to late night movies now, or are you like matinee? What do you prefer?
I prefer a matinee. That depends, because I mean, so often I go on the road. So like, I like to go on like a Friday afternoon and go check out a flick. I mean, especially, this is Nashville, so there's like some stuff to do or whatever. Although I hate this city. I just decided today. But like some of these clubs, like Funny Bones, are like in malls. That's like literally all there is to do is to go see a movie, like in the winter and everything. So I like a morning movie. I like to see a movie like 11 o'clock in the morning and then leave and it's still light out. That's one of my favorite things to do. But I also like a late night movie too.
Yeah, I tried to see Oppenheimer at like 9 o'clock and fell asleep right after the bomb went off. So
Oh, good. You missed the parts that don't need to be in there. That is a long film.
I couldn't talk about the movie though because my friends after were talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, wow. Oh, that went on. Okay."
Yeah, I'm not a big fall asleep guy at the movie theater, particularly a nuclear bomb movie. But that's actually
I was
hard to
fighting
pull
it,
off,
but then
I
when the
feel
bomb
like.
went off, I was like, "Okay, that's why I bought the ticket right there."
No, I do feel like we just watched A Haunting in Venice, and it was like very talky and dark. And I remember, my wife fell asleep next to me, and then my niece was sleeping next on the other side of me, and I was like, I could just go to bed right now. By the way, how great is this image of De Niro with the birthday hat? Another great moment. He's got the little triangle birthday hat, and I love this little sequence of them all having fun together. They do such a great job.
It feels very like to the time period too.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's a fun fact about movies, as you may or may not know. Most movies, like the big turning point is at the hour mark. Like if you watch a movie around an hour, 55 to 62 minutes, like a big turning point in the film is happening. And right now we're at like 54 minutes, and this is the turning point when they kill Billy Bats here. So it's sort of right on.
Let's double check your
Right
time
on
here.
cue. Okay, it's 51, 54.
52. He doesn't know
Right.
Goodfellas, guys.
It's 52 minutes, but a little time is going to pass before they actually happen. So we'll see.
He's got to get the blowjob.
We'll
first.
see what time it is.
That
His
takes
dick's
2
out.
minutes. Everyone knows
Pretty
that.
quick blowjob. I'm very relatable to that.
May 11, 1970. Here we go. And we're going to get in there. June 11th. Oh, I blew it. I think, no, you know what it
You
is?
really don't know this movie.
It's May later, the last scene, when he gets busted finally. I think that's May 10th, something like that. Another funny detail about this scene, the Billy Bats scene, is look how sad the party is. The balloons are all deflated. Like that, nobody's there. Like nobody actually likes Billy Bats. He's literally talking to one guy. Here comes the second guy, which is just beautiful. So it's going to be a lot closer to an hour. You'll see when they kill Billy. It's going to be more like 56-ish, 57 minutes.
I believe you.
I feel like Billy Bats is not really doing anything wrong. But then when De Niro's like, you insulted him a little bit.
No, you insulted him a little bit. You got a little out of line yourself. Well, because I think they all hate Billy.
No. You insulted him a little bit. You got a little out of order yourself.
No, I didn't insult him. I didn't insult him.
A little bit.
No, I didn't insult nobody. Give us a drink. Give us a drink. Okay?
And then, of course, Frank Vincent, who's fantastic as Billy Bats here, he wanted to play Pesci's character and was hoping to play it, and then didn't get the role. But
I bet Pesci loved that.
these two had known each other for forever, and they were in Raging Bull together, and I think they went way back and acted together as young men. I mean, Pesci's face here is just fucking priceless, how furious he is.
Did you ever have a summer job or a job growing up? Like, what was your worst job? What was your shine box?
Boy, I fluffed and folded at Filene's, which is a department store. I was a fluffer folder. That sucked. And I did some frame work for my uncle. Like he owned a frame shop. That was my uncle. It was my friend's uncle, actually. I don't know why I just shortened it to my uncle, but it was my buddy's uncle. And like we cut glass and framed and matted, like much like this Philip Seymour Hoffman thing that I can't stop thinking about. I mean, every gift. This really is better than any Christmas or birthday I've ever had. You guys know me better than my own family. But yeah, so I did some of that, and I worked at a record store or CD store, FYE, for your entertainment. Oh, here we go. Distracted again. You bought your fucking button. Keep him here. Yeah, that's just a great. I love this. Don't get nervous. It's such a great moment. He's just telling the women around him, don't get nervous. Relax. You feel strong? Nope, I left out a fuck, but I got it. Teach this kid some fucking manners.
Come on. Let him go.
He brought his fucking button, that fake old tough guy. You brought your fucking button, you fake tough guy. You motherfucker.
Come on.
Fuck, keep that motherfucker here. Keep him here. Keep him here. Come on.
Bats. Come on, you
No
fucking
fake
feel
tough guy.
strong?
I'm sorry. Tommy gets a little loaded. He doesn't mean any disrespect.
You don't mean any disrespect, Henry. Are you nuts? Teach this kid a little fucking manners.
One of my favorite lines that I never noticed the last time I watched it is when Pesci tells like his date at the bar later after the heist. He's like, if you even look at anybody, like I'll fucking kill
Oh,
you.
yeah, that's
and then
Scorsese's
she
girl.
she looks to her friend like, you hear that? Like
Yeah,
he said
yeah.
he'll kill me. He's so jealous he'll kill me, and she's like, that's great.
She goes, "That's great." Yeah, that's Jimmy's wife. Yeah,
That's
Mickey.
what you want.
She goes, "Yeah, that's great."
I'm gonna go see Stacks. Don't you look at anybody. Look straight ahead or I'll fucking kill you.
He's so jealous. I mean, if I even look at anyone else, kill me. Great.
You were talking about your favorite line. I think it's right after Joe Pesci kills Spider. He's
Yeah.
like, he's dead. And he goes, I'm a good shot. What do you want from me?
What do you want? I mean, that whole sequence is amazing. And he goes, the other great line in that is, "Where are the shovels?" Which is so good. And
I'll take a hole.
One of the guys too, when he says that, he goes, "From this distance, like it couldn't be." or something.
You got a problem with what I did, Anthony? She's
You gotta like that though,
so
right?
good.
The guy from Sopranos getting killed.
Yeah, Spider. Yeah, I mean, it's such a hilarious scene.
He's dead. Good shot. What do you want from me? Good shot.
You miss at this distance.
Well, you got a problem with what I did, Anthony?
No. Hey, no.
Fucking rat anyways. Whole family's all rats. You would have grew up to be a rat.
Stupid bastard. I can't fucking believe you. Now you're gonna dig the fucking thing up. You're gonna dig the hole. You're gonna do it. I got no fucking lime. You're gonna do
Fuck
it.
cares? I'll dig the fucking hole. I don't give a fuck. Was the first hole I dug? First time I dug a hole, I'll dig a fucking hole. You know, where are the shovels?
I also love. There's another subtle thing that I love in that scene where it shows how careless Joe Pesci is when he gets in the big argument. He shoots him in the foot the first time, and then he goes, "Are you in?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm in." And he goes, "Okay, it's 700." He goes, "Oh, 800." 800. Like Joe Pesci's just calling hands, and like clearly he has the losing hand. He's just calling it, and he's like, "It's 800." What the fuck? Like not paying any attention. He's just throwing $800 into the pot, which it's so nothing, but it's so subtle and fun to me.
It's an accident. Fuck him. Little fucking actor.
I got a great hand.
A little prick. Yeah, I'm in. 800.
The scene after this with Scorsese's mother, which is the best scene in the whole film, probably.
Oh, yeah.
And that is supposedly entirely improvised. Scorsese just kind of said, "You're making breakfast. This is your son's old friends." And he said, "Bobby's playing an Irishman, so just make him scrambled eggs and ketchup. And at some point, pull out this painting." And the rest is just improvised, which is pretty amazing.
Beautiful. I like this one. One dog goes one way and the other dog goes the other way.
One is going east and the other one is going west. So what?
And this guy's saying, "What do you want from me?" Guy's got a nice head of white hair. Look how beautiful with the dog. It looks the same.
Looks like somebody we know.
I mean, without the beard. No, it's him.
I have a story I've told before about Nick DiPaolo used to have these cookouts with all these great comics, Patrice O'Neill and Keith Robinson and Colin Quinn. And I would go, and I was like the youngest one there because I was just kind of Nick's opener. And then I would just keep my mouth shut. Everyone was talking. And at one point, Patrice was like, "What's with your fucking guy? He doesn't say anything." And I went, "I'm just listening," which is the line that Leo does here. And it got like this huge laugh. And I was like in after that. It was very fun. Why Don't You Get Yourself a Nice Girl is a great part of this movie, too. I just want to talk about the movie. I just love it. Why don't you settle down?
Why don't you get yourself a nice girl?
I get a nice one almost every night, ma.
Yeah, but get yourself a girl so you could settle down. That's what I mean.
settle down almost every night, but then in the morning I'm free. I love you. I want to be with you.
Why don't you settle down?
How's your friend Henry there? Henry, what's the matter? You don't talk too much.
You talk a little bit. Be quiet for me.
You don't eat much. You don't talk much.
I'm just listening.
One thing off topic to ask you, we ask all our guests this, but when did you find out Santa wasn't real?
I feel like early. I was a very critical thinker as a kid. I would say, I don't know, first or second grade. I was pretty young. I just did the math in my head, and I was like, this doesn't really make any sense. And I actually remember being in third grade and talking to this girl, I forget her name, but I remember having a conscious moment that I was being an ass. It was like one of the earliest like self-conscious moments, because I was making a case to her of why Santa wasn't real. And I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was like, but don't you see, like, how could he go to every house? That's crazy. Like, he would just goes down a fire. It doesn't make any sense. Like, how could that work? And like, they're making gifts that they have at the store. And I remember her being like, no, but he has to be real. It is. It's like magic. And I remember like consciously being like, oh, Jesus. I'm like this sucks what I'm doing to this woman. I was like, yeah, you know what, you're probably right. I'm wrong. I think you're right. Like, it was like a very early on in life being like, oh, this isn't the right thing to do. But I would say really young. I also feel like my parents didn't give us any gift. All the gifts were from Santa. They didn't write like, also here's a gift from mom and dad. So I was just like, well, how come everyone's getting me a gift except my parents?
Yeah.
It just felt weird. And so I was pretty young. I had a comedian mind of breaking things down and being like, that doesn't seem right.
Have you ever walked out of a movie halfway before?
Oh, yeah, many times. I'm a big believer in stopping watching a movie. One movie I definitely remember leaving early was Monuments Men.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I hated that film.
I thought it was going to be really good, too.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of great actors.
Like Clooney and Goodman.
And yeah, John Goodman and Bill Murray. And,
yeah.
I just thought it was like the worst thing I'd ever seen in my life. I left that movie early. A bunch of movies. Yeah, I've left quite a few movies early. Because that's what I was saying about that movie, Haunting in Venice. Like, it's just so nothing that I watched the whole thing because it's like good enough. And I'm almost like, I'd actually almost prefer a movie that is just so offensively bad that I'm like, I'm out of here. Like, this movie was just entertaining enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big believer of like, you don't have to sit in a theater for 2 hours if you're not enjoying it.
Is that the worst movie you've ever seen?
Boy, I've seen some bad movies. Worst movie I've ever seen. I mean, that's got to be up there. Yeah, I don't know. I've watched some like really bad B movies and stuff like that.
Well, all right, better. What's your favorite bad movie?
My favorite bad movie. I mean, the movie Cocktail I grew up watching with Tom Cruise, and that is like a pretty bad movie. But I just loved Tom Cruise and I loved the soundtrack, and I saw it when I was a kid, so like I really enjoy that movie. It's hard to say. I mean, most movies I think are pretty damn good, but. Yeah, that comes to mind, certainly. I don't know, but I'm sure there's movies that people don't think are good that I think are pretty great.
Have you ever recommended a movie to like a friend group and it completely bombs?
Yeah, definitely. I remember seeing like early Wes Anderson I was really into. I remember seeing Royal Tenenbaums, and I had seen it like 4 times in the theater. I was just obsessed with it. And I remember overhearing I brought my friends. I remember overhearing my friends say, he's like, I hate this movie. And I just like, I heard him say it. I was like, oh no. And there's definitely, I just played Rear Window for my like young nieces and nephews and cousins. And they were just dying. They were like, this sucks. Like, they can't watch a movie from 1954 or whatever. So I've definitely played movies people that just didn't like it. Yeah. It's not a great feeling. And then you just feel, it's like when you do someone else's bit, it doesn't get a laugh, and you're like, I'm just bombing with somebody else's material.
That's how I felt with that Hedberg joke earlier.
Yeah. No, that was terrible. I'm just kidding. It's a great joke.
It's a Wonderful Life. Is that one of your top movies too?
Absolutely, yeah. One of my favorite movies ever. I watch it every year, of course, sometimes twice a year.
Can you rattle off your top 10?
Joe's list.
I love Apollo 13. I mean, these are my top 10 favorite, probably. I mean, there's Apollo 13, Forrest Gump, Goodfellas, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Godfather, Godfather 2, Back to the Future, Field of Dreams. And then this is like more than 10. I love Brokeback Mountain, Lost in Translation, Jaws, Raging Bull. And then all those Tarantino movies. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of my favorite movies ever.
I'm obsessed with that movie.
Yeah, I think those are definitely a few of my favorites. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is way up there. Christmas Vacation.
We just watched Election.
Oh, Election is one of my favorites. Election and Sideways. Those are 2 masterpieces by Alexander Payne, I think. 2 of my favorite movies ever. Yeah.
Is Scorsese your favorite director?
Yeah, and then Woody. I didn't even name any Woody Allen movies. Scorsese's 1 and Woody is 2, I think, for me. I just love those guys. And then Tarantino's up there. But yeah, Woody Allen movie. I love Broadway Danny Rose and Annie Hall and Everybody Says I Love You. Hannah and Her Sisters is probably my favorite of those ones.
Radio Days.
I love Radio
Days. That's an amazing movie.
Yeah. That movie, like, it touches my heart. Manhattan, Sleeper, Bananas, those early ones. But yeah, Scorsese's number one for me. I mean, Scorsese just has such an insane body of work. I mean, like Mean Streets, King of Comedy, After Hours, No Direction Home, The Dylan Doc, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Cape Fear, Casino. It's really like just insane how many just amazing movies he has. So yeah, he's number one.
Is King of Comedy your favorite movie about stand-up?
My favorite movie about stand-up is a movie called Punching the Clown by Henry Phillips. Well, he didn't direct it. This guy, his buddy Gregory, I forget how you say his name. Yeah, Henry's a good friend of mine, and that's the best. And then another one that's the Coen brothers, by the way, are probably just below Scorsese. I left them out there too. No Country for Old Men. I don't know if I said that. That's in my top 5. And Lebowski and Fargo is one of my favorite movies. But yeah, Henry Phillips is amazing. Oh, that's what I was going to say. That's Punching the Clown, Henry Phillips movie, and then Inside Llewyn Davis, which is about music, but really is like the best movie about stand-up comedy because they're so interchangeable.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
It just really sums up that sort of bitterness and coming up, and that scene at the end when he's kind of leaving the place and Bob Dylan's on. He kind of looks like, who's this fucking guy? It's just such a perfect thing of comedy. That and the scene where he goes to put his stack of records under the table and they don't fit, and he realizes it's somebody else's stack of records.
Yeah.
That to me is like comedy. It's just everyone just has a surplus of merch that they haven't sold, and so I'll eat this fucking dog.
Of course, I'll eat this fucking dog. That's what I want to do.
But yeah, so those are the best movies.
We even like riding in the car on the way to like a show with people you're just on the show with. You're just like, God, I hate this guy driving.
Yeah, exactly. And all that stuff is great. And the audition, and the guy just goes like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any money here." There's
yeah.
And
that's such a painful.
Couch surfing.
Tough.
F. Murray Abrams, yeah. So
yeah,
those ones, are the best.
No, that scene's quite. I love that. Because it's really like. It's like Walk the Line, Johnny Cash. Like play the song, like if you're lying dead in the gutter.
Yeah.
But how it would maybe go if it wasn't like so. I don't know, like a fairy tale a little bit.
Yeah, and it just has that thing that's like, there's such a thin line in between who's really making it and who's not making it at all. It's like there's not that big a difference in talent or whatever.
But poor Queen Jane, beloved, lay cold as a stone, lay cold as a stone.
I don't see a lot of money here.
But yeah, that movie's so beautiful. I mean, the Coen brothers are just the greatest. They're the only ones that can compete with Scorsese to me, and they're also writing their own stuff, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I just have a brother myself. It's cool to just two brothers being in something creative like that.
Yeah. Are you guys the brothers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and I think they kind of like broke up. They're doing solo movies, which is upsetting.
They broke up. The brothers broke up.
They're not.
This is actually our last podcast.
They're not making stuff together, so we'll see.
Who's your favorite actor?
That's tough. I mean, probably all time is probably De Niro, but Philip Seymour Hoffman too. I mean,
despite the interaction.
Yeah. Oh man, like Philip Seymour Hoffman is just, I don't know. And I always say this, like that's the celebrity death that moved me the most. I just really love that guy. I thought we got robbed of so much great performances, or so many great performances. But De Niro. I love Tom Hardy. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. Pacino, early Pacino, I love. But yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think, and De Niro are my favorites.
Pacino turned down this for Dick Tracy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tough.
Oh.
Yeah. Because he didn't want to play a gangster, and then he ended up playing a gangster in Dick Tracy.
Oh, that's funny.
And it was released, I think, like later the same year. It was just like, oh, tough.
I love how De Niro's holding his cards too. He's just completely bending all the cards. But yeah, I think Oh, and Hank. I love Hanks too. I got to give him a shout out to my boy Hanks.
Yeah.
Who I think is fantastic. My guy. Yeah. Back to back best actor.
Did you watch the Elvis movie with Tom Hanks?
I watched pieces of it. I just thought, and my friend Rana, my movie co-host, Hanks is not great with like accents. He's not a great.
No,
he's horrible.
I just thought he was so goofy in that, and like real, like I'm the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt too like, like beard rubbing, ring twisting, like.
Yeah, I love him in like everything else, but that movie, I was just like, what is going on?
No, I love Hanks in Forrest Gump, Apollo 13, Big, and Castaway. He's amazing, and Captain Phillips. He's unbelievable, or believable. I always think unbelievable is a funny compliment for an actor.
Yeah,
he's not believable.
I could like hear. What's his name at times? Why am I blanking on his name? I almost said Henry Hill.
Oh, Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
I can like hear him, even though we've got it paused or silent. You can just hear that.
He has a strong laugh. He does the same laugh in A Field of Dreams, too.
Yeah. None of us could stand that son of a bitch when we were alive, so we told him to stick it.
None of us could stand a son of a bitch when we were alive, so we told him to stick it.
Well, Joe, we need to get you out of here. So
I gotta go to work. Yeah, it's that time of day. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Where do we find you?
At Joe List Comedy on Instagram and Twitter or X, whatever the fuck it's called. And I got a new special on YouTube called Enough for Everybody. I got 3 specials on there. I Hate Myself, This Year's Material, and Enough for Everybody. And I have a podcast called Mindful Metal Jacket. This is my own movie podcast called Joe and Ron on Talk Movies. Of course, Tuesdays with Stories. I do a lot of talking shit.
Man, you working.
Yeah, I'm trying. So, yeah, thank you guys for having me. Thanks for the gifts. These are unbelievable. I'm going to smoke all 5 of these tomorrow morning. This is just tremendous.
Well, thanks so much for giving us some of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Watching movies till we die.